time to time. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Wendy. I write speculative fiction and horror, and today I am here with a writing advice book review. The book we are talking about today is called Are You Actually Going to Write a Book or Just Talk About It? It was brought to my attention by my friend Tamara Woods over at Pen and Paper Pad. I will leave her channel down below so you can go and check her out. So, reason why this book was brought up by her is because every month they do a writer's workshop with her and two other writers get together. They pick a book, they read it, and they talk about it over a live stream. And since I can't actually be a part of that live stream because it's on Saturdays and I'm busy, I wanted to give my 2 cents on this book. So here we are. Even though it's probably not needed, but you know what? We're doing it. So if you want to check out her live stream, it's next Saturday. Like I said, I'll leave the link to her channel down below. You can set the reminder and go hang out with them. They are amazing people. They're an amazing group of people. She is an amazing person herself. Are You Actually Going to Write a Book or Just Talk About It is a book filled with tips and tricks for beginning writers who are just starting out and are looking to build their daily writing habits. And like any writing advice book, it has its pros and cons. So let's get into that. The first pro of this book is that it doesn't start out by telling you to start with a book. And I know that sounds backwards. I know that sounds a bit off because it's telling you to write a book, but you're not supposed to write the book. I know. Hold on. It starts off telling you to start off with a blog post and then short stories. Short fiction, microfiction, 500-word fiction, 100-word fiction, all those wonderful things, because it wants you to get into the habit of writing daily. It tells you to do the blog post and actually post the blog post, which is another plus side because then you're putting yourself out there to receive criticism. And as a writer, you really need to learn how to take the criticism and get a thick skin and just go with it. Same with the short stories. Write them, post them, people review them and talk about them and stuff like that. This, like I said, it helps you build. It's the whole, actually, I don't think you have to share the short stories. I don't share half my short stories. But it does help you build that daily writing habit. It does help you get used to sitting down and looking at the computer, looking at the keyboard, and be like, okay, we're going to write 300 words today. When you get used to writing 300 words, then it advises you to tack on another 300 words. So 600 words a day, 900 words a day, it'll build up. And that is really good advice. That is advice that I wish somebody had given me when I first started out, when I was first writing my first book, because when I first started writing a book, I didn't have a routine, I didn't have a go-to spot, I didn't have a drink, I didn't have an alternative course. If all of that failed me, it was just, the advice was sit down and write. Figure it out as you go. And when you're staring at 50,000 words and no real course on how to make that happen and no daily writing habit to make that happen, it's just kind of like, okay, this is huge, this is big. Where do I go from here? And I did it. Don't get me wrong. I did do it. But it took me like 2 years. It took me like years to write that first book. And because I was building up the habit. So, like I said, it just would have been great advice to have when I first started out. But I didn't have that advice. It was only after I wrote the first book that I took a step back and I was in the edits and first book, and after the edits and the writing and everything else, that I got into trying to query it, that I got into writing blog posts and short stories and realizing all of the mistakes I was making in my first book, and I've pulled it from query and I've been revising it ever since because I don't know what it is with that book. It's like my forever project. It's just there. It's on the side burner now. It's on the back burner. Anyways. This isn't about my story. This is about a review about this book. About this writing advice book. So, yes, that was its first pro, is it doesn't start you off with just writing a book. It starts you off with small tasks to get you used to just writing something daily. You don't, some random topics, some internet subjects, and anything. that comes to your mind, you just write it down and you share it. That's a really good way to start. The second pro of this book is that he breaks everything down and makes it sound really, really, really simple. He even made outlining sound really, really, really simple, even though he added math to the equation. I don't like math. Me and math do not mix, and you're about to see why here in a minute. When he tells you to outline your book, he tells you to figure out how many words are going to be in your book. And then from there, you either divide the amount of words you want in your chapter, and that tells you how many chapters you're going to have, or you figure out how many chapters you're going to have and divide that, and it tells you how many words are supposed to be in each chapter. Something like that. It's in the book. Go read the book. I told you I'm not good at math. I don't remember this. I don't remember what he did with this exactly. But he made it where you had to, it made it sound really, he broke it down and it made it really, really simple to understand, and with the outline and everything. And he didn't go into anything insane with the outline. Like, the outline was, okay, figure out how many chapters you're going to have, put them in a spreadsheet somewhere, and then write out what's going to happen in each chapter. It's freaking simple. That's far more simple than my advice, which is to go to Story Genius and do her thing. We're not going to get into that, but that's her thing. It's just simpler the way he does it. It makes a whole lot more sense. And like I said, for me even, it was like, oh my god, I get it. That's easy enough to do. I even did the whole outline for my current book that I'm writing, because I didn't have an outline, I was just writing. So let's go ahead and get into the cons of this book. Most of the cons of this book is, the only con I found about this book is that it's basic advice, and that's my opinion. Don't come at me. I didn't say the book was overall bad. It's just my opinion. So most of the advice in this book is fairly simple, regurgitated mantra. As I was reading it, I was sitting there like, okay, yeah, I've done that, yeah. And it didn't really bring anything new to the table. It didn't bring basic how to get started, which is good for people who are just starting out, who are wanting to turn their hobby of writing into an actual career. It's great, it works for them. I didn't get really anything out of it. I mean, like I said, I got the outline bit, and then there was a chapter on creating monsters, which works for me because I'm a horror writer and I'm always looking for new ways to create stuff to scare people, so that helped me a little bit. But most of it, just anything refreshing information that you can find all over the web, everywhere, and that's been spouted 100 million times now. And I know that contradicts what I said before, and I wish somebody had given me this advice, but at the same time, I didn't go searching for it when I first started out. It wasn't until after I did my first draft that I was like, maybe there's an easier way to do this, and I started searching. And I found all the information. I was like, oh, look, go figure. Anyways, all in all, it wasn't a terrible read. I would definitely recommend it. It had me smiling a bit, like the whole, what was it? For example, the whole story bit on, I've lost control of my characters had me laughing, because it's absolutely true in how that works. Either way, I give this book a 7 out of 10 stars, mostly because it had more pros than cons, and that it told people to build a daily writing habit rather than just throwing them into the chaos that is writing a book. And like I said, I would definitely recommend it to anybody who is looking to work on that and how to do that. But for those of us who've been in the trenches for a while, who wrote the books and done the things, it's nothing new here. There's really not a whole lot for us. Either way, I really hope you like this review. Like I said, give Tamara Woods, go check out her channel. She's an amazing writer. And check out her podcast, or not podcast. She does have a podcast with another amazing writer. But go check out her channel. Go check out her writer's workshop. And until next time, bye. Love y'all. See ya.